Hey, this is Keith. For those of you who don't know me, I am the songwriter, lead singer, and guitarist for the Handshake. And I am coming to you today from a cabin in the woods near Saratoga Springs in New York, in the state of New York. And this is just a quick intro to the video that you're about to watch. Before I go on, thanks for checking in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for taking an interest in the channel. Please like and subscribe. You know, all the usual stuff. You can visit us at thehandshakenyc.com or thehandshake.band if you want to check out our website. And there's lots of stuff on the website to peruse. But for now, you're watching this channel, and so the video you're about to watch actually is basically a simulcast. It was originally released on our channel, Get You Some Productions, which is our production company, and also a podcast that features all sorts of music production stuff, just anything music related that we want to talk about. Sometimes it's just a conversation between me and Dan. Dan's the bass player for the Handshake, but we just talk about random music stuff. We talk about building a production company. We talk about just podcasting things. We also do lots of interviews and stuff there. So this episode of originally the Get You Some Productions podcast was actually a songwriting critique of our new single called Hope. This is the first single we've released in a long time. And I thought it'd be cool to have a process where there was a live critique of every song before we release it. And so that's what we're trying to do. And so this song, Hope, was released sometime in August of 2025, and I'm recording this on September 3rd, I believe, 2025. And I just think it's cool to get sort of a behind the scenes look at songwriting, the songwriting process. Maybe there's definitely some stuff in the critique. My friend Reinhert, who is a legit songwriter. It's like funny, I don't really consider myself a legit songwriter, but I guess I probably should at this point. But she's a legit songwriter. She's also a songwriting instructor at Berkeley, so she's the real deal. She did this critique, and so I thought it'd be cool to just release it here as well, so that you don't have to go looking for it. And anyone who's interested in learning more about the songwriting process, what a critique looks like, give a little more context for the song, I think it'd be interesting. So that's really it. Thanks for watching. And once again, like and subscribe and all that junk.
Okay.
We're here.
Hi.
Okay. So this is going to be a simulcast show between the Get You Some Productions podcast, which is the main podcast where we talk about producing music. And I have to remember the intro. Get You Some Productions podcast is a podcast covering all things related to music production, from the first note to the last fan and everything in between. So we are not afraid to cover pretty much anything that has anything to do with music production. I don't know what episode this is, maybe 10 something, 103, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
So that's the Get You Some Productions side of things. But I'm also going to release this on the Handshake website and YouTube channel. And that's because the song we're going to be talking about is a song that belongs to my band, The Handshake. The Handshake is just a brand band that's like rock and roll. I'm a child of the 90s, so not technically, I was born in the 70s, um,
But we
but
grew up then. Me too.
yeah. So, but that's kind of the music that I sort of liked when I was a teenager, which
Yep.
is like 90s rock and roll. So that's kind of the Handshake in a nutshell. So I'm very, very excited to have Kat Reinhert here. And she is a wonderful musician, singer, songwriter. And I'm going to ask you to talk about yourself a little bit.
Sure.
But today, she's been very gracious enough to come and talk to me about my song. And the reason I wanted to do this is because I think it's valuable to, I don't know, dig into the songs and have other people take a second look. Well, actually, just between me and you, since we don't know each other that well, I consider myself to be an absolute shit songwriter. Like
No.
yeah, I'm a pretty good guitar player, and I think of myself as being a very serviceable singer and songwriter.
Okay.
Like I'm a functional singer and I'm a functional songwriter. And so it's in my interest to just invite people to come and talk. And I think you're probably a much better songwriter than I am. So maybe you have some insights into the song, and we can just talk about it. We can also talk about songwriting and process, and I guess whatever comes up.
That sounds great.
So can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So as you said, I'm a musician, songwriter, and I actually started as a jazz musician. And I did that for about 15 years in New York City, sang all the standards, did all the things. And then I discovered that I really liked writing my own stuff instead of singing somebody else's. And so I started digging into that. And I've been doing that now for 15, 20 years. It kind of overlaps a little bit. So I'm not young, but I don't care. I love that. I love that I'm almost 49 and I don't mind admitting that. And I think it's important that women understand that like age is just a number, it doesn't mean anything. It's just there. It's how many years you've lived, and how much experience you have. So yeah, I've put out 5 independent albums and 8 singles. I'm working on a new EP that I'm producing myself, and laying in all the things. I started as a pianist, and a singer. And then in the pandemic, I started playing guitar. And I got pretty serious. Like I practiced 2 hours a day for almost 2 years during the pandemic. And starting in 2020, no, 2021, really. I kind of started in 2020, but the way I was learning wasn't working for me, so I switched and I learned how to play guitar by learning chord changes and or chord shapes and strumming patterns, and I would write a song every 2 weeks for my guitar teacher using those things. That's how I learned how to play guitar. And at this point, I can do like a 2 hour set solo on guitar. And I don't think I've actually practiced piano in probably 2.5, 3 years, because guitar is way more fun. And I
Wow.
also don't own a piano. So there's something about picking up a real instrument that has always been really appealing to me. So like when I'm at a piano, like it's fun now because I have different voicings and things like that. But yeah, I've been in New York for the last since I moved here in 1996 to go to school and then kind of stayed. I left a few times to go do more school. So I actually have a PhD in music education from the University of Miami, specializing in popular music. And yeah, and currently I'm a professor at Berkeley College of Music, and I go up to Boston every week during the school year and I come back. So I go back and forth for what, 28 weeks, I think. And I am a full-time full professor of songwriting in the Department of Songwriting at Berkeley. And I teach a lot of songwriting classes. I did the math for like, how Spotify has those uh like wrapped things at the ends of the year. Like I always hate those because my numbers are never like what I wish they were, but so instead I like figured out how many songs I assess in a year based on the number of students in my classes and the number of students a week, and it's 3,000. So I evaluate, listen to, analyze, and give responses to 3,000 songs a year. So it's
It's a
a
lot.
lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's 100 a week usually during the school year. So, you know, you start seeing patterns, you start seeing, specific things people will do at different levels. And I mean, it's really fun. Like I totally enjoy doing that. And then I write a lot, probably 3 to 5 a week, um, on good weeks when I'm not working on a million other projects. But it's at least one a week. And in January, it's every day. So I do a challenge in January. You should join. It's really fun. My colleague and I from Songwriting for Music Educator, so I co-own a company, and trying to empower K through 12 educators to learn how to write songs so they can write songs with their students. And every year we do a songwriting challenge. So it's a song a day. So the idea is generally be creative, try to write something every day, whether it's a verse, a chorus. I kind of go the whole extra mile and actually finish a song. I give myself an hour, a prompt, and I just write. And then I put it out on Instagram. So if you go to my Instagram at Kat Reinhert, you can find 3 years worth of songs every single day that I've written in like an hour. And my students' responses are usually like, really? What if they're bad? And I'm like, well, some of them are terrible, like, but they're done. And that's like the most important thing about writing a song is to finish it because you have no idea what's possible with that song until you have the finished first draft of the song. And then you can decide, oh, actually, this part is not a bridge. It belongs somewhere else. Like you can't see everything until it's finished. And so if you quit before, I mean, not to say that I don't quit some songs before they're done, but at this point, I've written so many songs that I know that it's not going to work or it's just not, it's not something I want to continue on. And so I'll quit for that reason, but not because I don't think it's good enough to write. It's just more just, this isn't going anywhere. And I know that at this point. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of long-winded and a little bit, haphazard, but yeah, that's who I am.
That was perfect. So I didn't know you were a professor at
Yeah,
Berkeley.
I'm a full professor, like all the
I
way at the top of the food chain.
fucking love that. Dude, you're a boss.
Oh, well, I try. It was
I
it was a cool gig.
it sounds fun, super fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me, I'm sort of you, so the audience will hear the fact that I'm in my office today
Yeah. Mhm.
and they're doing construct constant, I'm in Industry City, Brooklyn, and
Nice.
it's constant construction here. So there's like, and I think this is an old warehouse. It's basically office space built into an old warehouse.
Okay.
And the old warehouse is very like masonry kind of situation,
Yeah, yeah.
there's these big masonry sort of like
Oh,
pillars and
cool.
things. It's a beautiful
Pretty.
office, truly, but but there's constant insanity with the like jackhammers and like masonry drills and things.
Yeah,
So i
yeah.
am i am writing the mute button as
Okay.
we chat, just to give other people, give you actually some
This is all good.
reprieve, some
Uh,
reprieve. Can we? So I can't help but want to learn a little bit more about you now.
sure.
So let's talk about influences just briefly. Like, who are
Yeah.
your big influences? I love shit like this. I love finding out.
Uh, well, as a songwriter, Joni Mitchell, uh, it's obvious, I think, in some of my stuff, becoming more and more the more I've dealt in guitar. John Mayer. Um, those are probably the two biggest, like in terms of songwriting, influences, and then musical influences, definitely Bill Evans, Miles Davis, like all the jazz people. Like you can hear jazz in my stuff. I call myself a jazz influenced singer-songwriter because no matter what I do, I can't seem to get away from it. No matter how simple I make anything, it's just there's something about it that like speaks to that, and I've sort of just leaned into it. And then other songwriters that I really love, Sarah Bareilles, Brandy Carlisle, um, who else? um, Carole King, like all Taylor Swift, 1,000%. Like I just think she's brilliant on so many levels, and then of course, like I mean, my friends are generally the other people that influence me the most. So like my band, my friend Nicole's Wrightis, who I don't know if you know her, she won a Grammy, like an independent, crazy. Like she won and
Yeah,
she
so
won.
that's a familiar name.
Yeah, so she won a Grammy 2 years ago for Best Vocal Jazz Album, and it was all original music, which has never been done. She's the only person to ever do that, in the jazz vocal category. And so it's just like really cool. Or my friend Lila Bialy, who's a Canadian singer-songwriter, pianist. I would say like my friends influenced me a lot. Like before the pandemic, I was probably going out 3 or 4 nights a week to hear friends. After the pandemic, it's become a little more difficult. My job, I get tired going back and forth to Boston. And so, but I mean, also the people that I work with. I mean, there are 35 songwriters in the department, or 39 or something like that. And they're all really amazing songwriters. And, it's a big open like office space with kind of cubicle kind of stuff where we all work. And so it's a hang often about songwriting, guitars, it's a really cool place to be. And then my students are the other people that influence me. So, as I said, I'm producing my own EP. And one of the reasons is because all my students are bringing in like these, I mean, every week they're like almost fully produced things where I'm just like listening to them and going like, oh my God, like, how did you do this in a week? Not only did you write the song, but you produced it out to this. And I mean, they know they're using Splice and like all kinds of like different tools to like put this stuff together. But it's really inspiring. And because I didn't learn production in any part or any of my degrees, that was never anything that was like definitely not a music education PhD. That's the funniest degree I have. But yeah, it is. It's the one I'm very proud of, but it's also the one that doesn't fully align with who I am as a human. But it got me to a lot of really cool things. So there were really good things about doing it. And uh, but yeah, so my students too, like yeah, just all the people that influenced me. And because I didn't get to do production, I just kind of learned it by myself. I actually started learning it from one of my former students who gave me lessons during the pandemic on production. And then just different people. Michael Leonard is currently working with me on like, he's a Steely Dan's music director and
Oh,
works with a bunch of
yeah.
different people. And he's the husband of one of my dearest friends, Jamie Leonard, who's a singer in New York and songwriter. And so yeah, just trying to just always get better, push the envelope, be a better teacher, be a better musician. I don't know, go into the 21st century, you know, learn stuff, don't go old in my brain. So yeah, be curious.
Okay, so I can't tell you how much I love having this show because I'm feeling a little bit um I'm feeling I usually the show is not about me. And so I
Well,
am
we have to get your song.
I know we have to get to my song. So I have to tell you that I I feel so lucky to have you on the show right now
Well, thanks.
that I and I really before we started recording, I did tell you that I wanted to have you on the show um, to do a formal interview, and I want my partner to be involved because that's the way we do things.
Yeah.
And now more than ever, I wish we were doing that instead.
Oh, come on. We're gonna have so much fun with your song. You'll get to learn all about me
We're gonna
through
have,
music.
yeah, we're gonna have fun either way. But I do want to say that I'm so happy that you're on the show, and I'm so happy to connect with you.
Thanks.
And I just love connecting with people, and I can tell how special you are.
Well, I don't know. I just try to be me.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm
all you
really
need to
bad at
do.
compliments. So just don't take
We'll
offense.
let it
I'm
go.
terrible.
Okay,
I'm
so
like,
I
okay, cool, we're good.
yeah, you're good. You're fine. So we'll make a plan to do that.
Amazing.
Because I feel like it's like weird to turn it around and do it, but that's what we had planned. So let's do that.
I don't think it's weird. We're
Also,
talking about
oh
songwriting and it's
yeah,
good.
yeah. Let's get into it. I think it's going to be super fun. And I do want you to send me all your links and socials and stuff
I will
when
do that.
after the show
Yep.
because because we do a thing where like a couple weeks before the show comes out we do a lot of promo stuff,
Okay.
um,
I
just
can
to
help with
promote
that too.
other people, yeah, just to promote you in general. So we'll do that. And I don't know. Also, I don't know when this is going to come out because we have a bunch in the can, so I have to kind of like get through stuff before it comes
Yeah.
out.
Just, I mean, that's the way it always works, you
Okay.
know. Like they're never when,
Yeah.
that you do them. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
what's the best format to do this? Because I could also pull this up.
I mean, I have your lyrics pulled up and I
Yeah.
have the song. I mean, I think like for anybody listening, we should probably like maybe listen to it or like pop it in somehow into this because if you haven't heard it, what I'm talking about might not make sense. Do you know what I mean? Like for I mean for the audience, it'll
Yeah.
help them understand it if there's like, hey, this is the song. So that might be something. I mean, we don't have to do that in our time, but my suggestion would be like pop it into the podcast, even though, do you know what
Okay.
I mean?
Yes.
Just because if anybody's listening, like it will help them understand like what I'm talking about, even if it's just a verse and a chorus of the song, like to hear like how it works in the song itself.
I will take you. One of the beautiful things about having these shows and having people say things out loud is that they end up being out loud. And then
Right.
when I listen back to the show and when I
Right.
do the show notes and things, I know what my homework is.
Yeah.
So my homework will be, there's an issue with this song in that, um, there's an issue with the song in that I'm trying to release this as a single immediately. It's already mixed and mastered,
Okay.
but the artwork is not done, and
Okay.
the artist is really busy for the next couple of weeks. But that should actually jive. So I'll
Okay.
release what might actually end up happening is I'll release the song in the next couple of weeks, and then I'll promote the song, but I'll also have a separate promotion that says there's going to be a podcast where we dig into the actual songwriting.
Okay.
And it'd be helpful if everybody listens to the song. And then when I actually promote the show, I can, have a link to the song
Yeah, just something where somebody could listen to it,
as
if
well.
they want to, because I don't know, it wouldn't get as much if I'm listening to something, just someone talk about a song without actually being able to like hear it. So,
Yes. Yeah.
um,
So I'll have like maybe a lyric sheet out there or something, and also the
okay.
song will be released.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready to dig in. What should we do?
Okay.
What do we do
Well,
first?
my first question and is generally like when people are putting music out in the world, I'm a little reticent to give feedback on a song that you've already decided is great and going out into the world. But if you're cool with me giving feedback on a song that you're going to put out and might have some things in it that you might want to revisit, then I can take it one of two directions. Just like, okay, I
Yeah,
wasn't sure, because
dude.
I'm used to getting things that are like not finished.
Yeah.
Um, and I know that makes people nervous, but that's the place where I find the most work can get done, even though it can be really scary, as opposed like I'm used to listening to things that are often voice memo, guitar, vocal, piano, vocal,
Yeah.
and you can hear everything, but like there's not bells and whistles until they get to like upper kinds of things. So if we're good with that, then I got notes.
Dude,
Okay.
do not. It is going to be released,
Okay.
but I, just for you, but for
Yeah.
all songwriters out there, I don't know if I said this out loud on the podcast or if I said this before when we were chatting earlier, but I consider myself to be a very mediocre, serviceable songwriter. Maybe this is me. I'm going to be completely, vulnerable on this show, and just to say that this, even though I say that out loud and now everybody knows that I feel that way about my own songwriting, but I'm going to backtrack, and I'm going to be vulnerable and just say, number one, yes, this is my authentic artistic expression, and I'm happy to dig into everything that the song was inspired by and what it means to me. And this is really what I want to put out there in the world. Number one. And number two, you are a professional and you're also a real artist, and I do not want you to hold back at all. I am 100%, like a big boy, and I don't care.
Well, I'm not going to be mean. Like that
No.
never does anybody any good. Like
No.
I have rules about engaged feedback that like we talk about. Like feedback is part of the learning process of being a songwriter. And but you can't take it if somebody is like yelling at you essentially. And I don't mean like literally yelling, but if they're saying things in a way that's like you're unable to hear them, because they're attached to you. And like the hardest thing about songwriting, I think, is you are not your work, right? Like that's one of the hardest things for most songwriters to understand is like their work is their work and they are them. And their worth is not ascribed to how good or bad or complete or incomplete or stage of journey that they're on. They're still worthy of love and belonging and all of the things. And we need to be able to separate these two. But when people are very young, like I'm working with a lot of 19, 18, at the beginnings of their journeys, these things are still so intertwined that I have, developed ways to like start talking about this, start teasing it out in all my classes because you have to talk about you are not your work. We're going to talk about your work, but that doesn't mean that you're not worth, and you're not doing a great job. But like, so yeah, I think it is really important, like to get feedback, at any stage, like there's a song that I put out that like I wish I'd never put it out because it's just like I look at it and I'm like, oh, that was so bad. Like,
Me too.
like we all have that. I mean, I'm really thankful. Like my first album that I put out, like nobody can find. Number one, it doesn't have my current name on it. And number two, it was always just analog. It never got digitized because it was put out in like 2001 before all of the streaming and digital stuff happened. And so it only lives on a disc in my mom's house, and my students are always like, we want to hear it. We want to hear it. And this year I finally brought it in to one of my classes and I played like half of a track and they were like, Cat. And I was like, I know. They're like, it's not that bad. I'm like, it's kind of bad. I mean, it sounds good because it was recorded in a studio, but like the writing is not good, but it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So thank you for all that. That's
Okay.
great. I think this is
Well,
going to be this is a safe space for.
okay. Cool. So my first question is, can you tell me a little bit about why you wrote the song, what inspired the song, something in that sort of vein. So I have a little context on like the backstory of the song
Yeah.
from you. Okay.
So the song was written because I've always felt different,
Okay.
and I've always felt like kind of that I didn't fit
Okay.
in society, I guess, in general. And I've always felt, I've also always felt a little bit like I was kind of like the black sheep of my family.
Okay.
I've just always felt different, a little bit eccentric, and so I wanted to write something. Well, to say that I wanted to write something is actually kind of weird. I didn't want to write this. It just sort of like, it just sort of came out
Okay.
one day. And believe it or not, I think I was sort of inspired by the song 1979 by Smashing Pumpkins.
Okay, yeah.
And so, if I'm not mistaken, that song does have a major seventh chord and it does go like 1/4 back and forth.
Okay.
I don't recall exactly the chords, but I was basically inspired by that song. And there was a whole second part of this song that has some references to that,
Okay.
I guess, that I cut out. This is like the single
Okay.
version of the song. So, but I don't know. I think, well, I guess in a nutshell, that's basically what it is. But that's the
Okay.
inspiration. Just feeling different. And the original, the working title of this song has been Minority
Okay.
for a long time. But I just felt like being a middle-aged white man, naming a song Minority just felt like, and actually, because it's about climbing a wall, and I wrote this
Yeah, yeah.
before the whole Trump thing, I wrote this before the wall was getting built. The
Okay.
song, the seeds of this song were from way before that,
Okay.
but it just felt so political,
Okay.
and I'm not like that.
Interesting.
I'm apolitical,
Okay.
and I happen to have a friend whose name means hope.
Okay.
And so I just, and then so, I just sort of like was
Yep.
inspired to change the name, and it resonated with me. So I changed the name to Hope.
Okay.
And I like when things are sort of broader,
Yep.
and have are more open to interpretation than something so specific as minority.
Okay. Cool.
Um, okay.
Okay, so my second question then to you is what are, I mean, you're putting it out, but there's always stuff that we sort of have in the back of our heads of like, oh, I wish, oh, I wonder, I noticed, those kinds of things. Like, is there anything in this song for you that kind of ticks one of those boxes?
Yeah, there are a few things
Okay.
that I've been sort of concerned about. The first thing is that, and this is kind of the way I am, but my songs tend to be very abstract and sort of not specific, like stories, or there's not a subject, so to speak.
Okay.
I tend to be very abstract and sort of poetic with the way I write songs. And I don't mean there's no value judgment in the poetic part of it. It's just that like it's more about the way the sentences make me feel. It's not
Okay.
about anything. So this song is very much like just like a sort of poem, like a it's more of like a word salad than it is like
Okay.
a narrative thing.
So your intention is that you wanted it to be abstract.
Yeah, I think all my songs are like that in a
Okay.
sense to me. And so, and that I sort of like that.
Okay.
And, but part of me feels like, is that a valid artistic expression?
Oh
You know?
yes, it's 1,000%. And I mean, and this is why I'm asking this question because I had a few questions, and we'll get into like things that I wrote down too. But I think it's um, really good to hear from the person who wrote the song about like what they're thinking and what they're going for. Because if I make a comment about something and you were going for something else, my
Hmm.
comment is null and void because your intention was X and my
Hmm.
comment was about Y. Do you know
Hmm.
what I mean? And so Y isn't going to help you because X was the intention, right? Versus if
Hmm.
you didn't know what the intention was and I made a comment on Y, you might be like, "Oh, that's an interesting thought," right? There's kind of dual things. Okay, so abstract is kind of the way you go. What else?
Yeah,
You
and
said there were a few.
I bring that up because I have kind of a songwriting partner,
Okay.
friend, who is more of the like Nashville sort of
Okay.
style, where his songs are very narrative.
Okay. And did he help you write this or is this all you?
He helped me change parts of it, but
Okay.
I wrote the song, but he suggested maybe, he was the one. Most of the verses were statements, and he suggested I change them to questions,
Okay.
because he felt that drew the listener in more, and it was
Okay.
less about me and more about other people.
Yeah.
So that was one of his suggestions. Not that that's not something I necessarily have a problem with. I thought that was a good, so I went with it. But the other thing is that I did steal the lyrics "us" and "them" from Pink Floyd. I feel like it's so generic that I don't think
It's too
it's
generic that
that big of a
it doesn't
deal.
matter. No. And it's not, I didn't hear any that didn't come up in a reference. I mean, it came up as like, oh, I've heard that, but it's not you're not using it in the same context. I don't think you'd be up for like issue. I mean, it's very common.
Great. And then the last thing is there is no bridge. And I have an issue with bridges personally as a singer, songwriter. Not that I don't like them, I love them, but I just have a hard time writing them. This song did sort of have a bridge, but
Okay.
I
I don't
took
think
it
all
out.
songs need bridges, but I
Fine.
mean, side note advice as a songwriting teacher, if you want to get better at something, start doing it on purpose. Right? So if you want to get better at writing bridges, then intentionally write songs with bridges. Like give yourself assignment to write verse, chorus, bridge, chorus songs for like
Mm-hmm.
2 months
Mm-hmm.
and write as many as you can and go listen to songs that have that form and see like because there are certain things that will happen to set up a bridge to like that a bridge does that like and or AABA songs, that kind of a bridge is a very different function than in the verse chorus kind of form. So, like looking at what bridges do and like leaning into them. But that's like side note, not really about your song. Okay, cool. All right. So
Okay.
my first thought when I listened to this was overall, musically, harmonically, arrangement, production wise, I'm pretty sold. Like I felt like all of your musical choices. I do have one thought or an idea which could go either way, but like I felt like they all really propelled the song forward. Like when I got to the chorus, like the melody is landed where I wanted them to land. There wasn't anything where like my brain was like, oh, I wish they'd done X or Y or Z. So like I felt the flow of the music, like the through line of the musical portion of it was like super strong and definitely evolved the song and like took it to the places where like not in a bad way expected, but expected it to go, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Yeah.
In a safe, good way, which is what a song that like they do that, right? They make us feel safe, and you're not trying to write, something that feels unsafe, right? At Berkeley, they talk about like ironic and sincere prosody. So ironic being like it's going against something. So you have like a really sad lyric. The easiest example is like really sad lyric with like super upbeat major poppy kind of a thing. That would be ironic because it's not doing what you expect versus like a sad lyric with minor, slow, sad things like the prosody is sincere. It's just aligned essentially. So
Mm.
could be aligned or inaligned or something, but I don't know. Just something to consider. But I felt it worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
So um when I did have a musical thing of like in the first line, have you been here too long? And there's a big pause before the word now. And my question was because it's the first line of the song, I don't trust you yet as like a
Mm.
song as the singer, right? I don't know anything about your story. And so I wondered if it was like, have you been here too long now? Or just a slightly shorter pause, because it was like, have you been here too long now? And as opposed to, yeah, I just wondered if there might be a space after, like less of a space after long before you saying now, to more or less invite the listener into your story more than um than making me wait for something that I'm not sure I'm ready to wait for, if that makes sense.
So, yeah, so the first line is, have you been here too long now?
Right.
And there was something that stood out to you as being sort of something that was not
I just wondered if have you been here too long now? Like if it was there was a
could go.
pause, but it was less.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a big pause, and I wasn't quite ready for the pause at the beginning
Yeah.
of the song to um
Yeah, it's
you're
almost a
you're
full beat and it's a
yeah,
slow song.
yeah, and you're like with the first opening line of a song, you're inviting the listener into your story.
Hmm.
And it did keep me listening, but at the same time, I was like, wait, why? What?
Yeah.
So that's like a small, it's not really a big deal.
Yeah. It's so
Um,
interesting. This process is fascinating.
um, okay,
I don't.
I need to see your face, like if we can, if that's cool,
Oh
if there's
wait,
a way to do that. Because,
uh
oh, okay, I see you. Okay, I gotcha.
can you see me
Yeah.
somewhere? I don't
And
know. so I think I'm recording the screen.
You are, and I can now see both. Okay.
Okay.
So then I wondered, okay, you have can you possibly care? And you say it twice in the
Yeah.
verse. And I
Actually,
didn't,
this is sort of something that sort of felt a little weird. Repeating anything actually drives me a little crazy.
well, I didn't hate it, but it felt like a missed opportunity for detail and more information that could relate to the chorus. Like,
Yeah.
and it just felt like I didn't need it repeated. It might be a stronger thing to consider how it might color the chorus, how it might give more information about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then the us and then people of action will be together. I actually, this is the only place where harmonically I wondered if you considered this a pre-chorus instead of the end of the verse, because
Mm-hmm.
it happens in the second part too, exactly the same.
Yes.
And the melody feels like a pre-chorus. It feels like an on-ramp to your chorus. Like you're getting us there like really strongly. And I think if you change that first chord on us to something else, I didn't analyze,
Oh. Yeah.
that like it would it would kind of t help the takeoff of that
Mm.
section essentially.
Okay.
And it was a question of like, I wonder what would happen if you considered this us and them, people of action will be together as a pre-chorus. And if you thought about it like that, and the function of a pre-chorus is to connect the verse to the chorus melodically, lyrically, or whatever,
Yeah.
and to be an on-ramp, right? So
Yeah.
to
Okay.
anybody listening, like I think of like a pre-chorus as like you're on the country road and you're driving and that's like your verse, right? And like you can see the highway that's up ahead, that's your chorus. But to get onto the highway, you have to go on the on-ramp. And as you're going on the on-ramp, that's your pre-chorus. You have to start speeding up or you have to like do certain things to get you onto the highway from the little country road, right? So that's your function of a pre-chorus. And it just felt like an opportunity to maybe explore that. Not necessarily, again, like I kind of look at feedback like jeans, like you go into a store and you want to buy a new pair of jeans, like you try them on, but you might come out with the same ones that you walked in on because you're the songwriter, you get to keep your jeans.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, trying things on and seeing if maybe it would like be a stronger thing to go into the chorus.
Okay, so that is really interesting because I think that one of the things that bothered me, and this is something that I sort of like fought against personally, in that I am like you, I'm a jazz person.
Yeah.
And so part of me is like sort of programmed to think of that more chords are better and fancier chords are better or something. And it's something that I sort of forced myself to write a song that was literally just two chords the whole time. And that's
Yeah.
what this song basically is. The only difference is that the verse is G major seven, and then the chorus is that it's just a regular G with
Yeah.
no extensions. And the only weird chord is the G minor six, that basically is
Right.
sort of like a break.
And I
Um,
didn't hate that, but it might be an opportunity to just stick a B minor chord or something in there or an E
right.
minor chord where you're using the relative of the G or something if that's what you're landing on. Like,
Yeah.
or what
Well,
chord do you land on us?
you mean on us is a D major, so we could use
So
a B
B
minor
minor. Yeah,
or an
like
F sharp minor.
yeah, just
The
to
F sharp minor might be
see
too close to the G major, so the B
maybe,
might
but
be
it
much
also
better.
might be just enough where we're not hearing a massive difference in things. We're just hearing this slight and just once, and then it goes back. It's just like this way to kind of like say, hey, we're in a new section of the song here. Um,
Hmm.
Potentially. Again, like it didn't scream that it
I
needed
will
to do
try
that, but
that.
it was something
Hmm.
to try.
As soon as you said the us and them was different, before you said just the one chord, I sort of pictured maybe there would be some sort of like walk up where it went. Well, I guess it wouldn't work from the B. I guess it could. I don't know, but like B, and then I guess it could be a B, and then an A over C sharp, and then a D, and then the F sharp. I
I
sort
mean,
of.
I don't think that, I mean, I think like the idea of like, so this is something too, is just like you got into this song and you wrote this song because you gave yourself a fun prompt of, I'm going to write a really simple two chord song or essentially two chords.
Yeah.
And because I tend to do all this other stuff. And that got you here. But then you have to think about, are those two things actually serving the song that I wrote?
Mm-hmm.
And that is the piece that I think a lot of people struggle with because they're like, but I did this and this is the thing that I wanted to do. And I'm like, okay, then you either need to make that thing be the thing and everything else has to work, or you've written this really cool piece of music, but it needs different support structures underneath it to really like make it like land in the way that you want the meaning of the song to land, and it has to serve the song. It can't serve that initial idea anymore. It has to serve the song that came out of that idea, right?
Mm.
So um and maybe you decide like, you know what, this does serve it, like, and that's valid. It's just a matter of what do you want from that, you know? But I think it's worth exploring to see like, oh, I didn't think about that, that could be cool, right? And maybe it doesn't work. Sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work. Okay, so then, I mean, it helps that you wanted it to, you tended to be a little abstract, but I don't fully get abstraction from these lyrics or from what you're trying to say. And I think if you're gonna go abstract, you got to go all the way in the bucket. Like you got to go David Bowie, Radiohead, like in the bucket of like abstraction if you're gonna go abstraction. Otherwise, a half and half is confusing often, right? And this is where I got confused is because the cliche climbing the walls means you're stuck. It means that like I'm frustrated, I'm sitting here, I feel like I can't do anything. I feel that I can't go anywhere. I'm climbing the walls. I'm just like, you know, like, but your pre-chorus is we're people of action and we're going to be together as we sit in a room and don't do anything. Like this is where I got confused as to the message of the song because it feels like you're trying to go somewhere, trying to do something, trying to call people to action. And when you just said in our conversation before that you were talking about the walls people were climbing to like get over something, that seems maybe what you're talking about, but I don't have context to understand that. And so the cliche wins, which is I'm climbing
Mm.
the walls, which is, but you know, if you put a but in there, maybe us and them, people of action, but we'll be together. But tonight we're stuck.
Mm.
Tonight we're frustrated.
Mm.
Tonight we're not sure where to go, which leaves the possibility for other things to maybe come. And I love, and this is where I was like, well, but I love the way you sing this. I love the melody on it. I love like the way it sounds. It's a super awesome hook. Like, man, you wrote a killer hook and a payoff line that's
Yeah.
like badass. But then I'm stuck because I'm not sure what it means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's okay. So if you don't mind,
Yeah,
I think
good.
I think this is where we can sort of dig into it. So because so the first verse, right? Have you been here too long now? You do not conform, right? That's sort of
Yep.
relatively explicit. Can you possibly care? I've thought of changing it. Can you possibly dare?
Oh, that would be cool. And then
Because
if you take my advice and change that last line to not a repeat and give me more information, that's what I mean is like there's an opportunity there to share more insight about what you're feeling.
mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm not going to come up with it on this call,
No, no, no. I
but
would that's
but I
not what I
do
would
think
expect.
so. And I guess yeah, because I agree with you in that the hook, I like the hook so much
Me too.
that I
So I'm
feel
like,
like
how
I
do I make
can't
it work?
get rid of that.
Right.
you know. Um, and I felt like, well, I guess what I felt like, if you don't mind, actually, so if you don't mind, let me just, I'm sort of a little bit afraid that um, when I've had this problem with Zoom
Oh,
where it
okay.
drives me crazy, where I think I'm recording the screen, but then it doesn't record us, our faces, and then, or it goes to a different thing where it just records
Okay.
you talking, um, and it doesn't show me my response, and then it's like it's something that's frustrating. I don't think it's doing it now,
Okay.
but and then the settings reset, and then it drives me crazy. So I'm just worried that when people are seeing the
The
you look
lyrics.
gorgeous.
I just futz with my hair a lot. It's okay.
That's okay,
Um,
because you know what, I was doing, a friend of mine came over and I was brushing my hair, and she was like, "You need to stop doing that. You're self-soothing.
yeah,
You're not, what you're doing is
it
not
makes me, it's
functional."
like a nervous tick. It's totally a thing. Um,
Okay, so that's why I'm keep switching from
no,
that's why I'm
it's
going to
good.
switch from the screen share to actually seeing us. Um, so, oh wait,
I
where are the
mean,
lyrics again?
another thought would be like, you have, like, if you did, can you possibly dare something else, us and them, and then you change the line people of action to something else that
Right.
more connotes that we're climbing the walls, that you're feeling stuck, but you want to go somewhere. Like, we want to be people of action, or like something that's like more driving towards your hook, which is it's a killer hook. And I was like,
Mm,
I want to make it work. So I feel like the places to do that are that repeated line where you have an opportunity for more information. And maybe you're not people of action. Us and them, not people of action, but we'll be together. Tonight we're climbing the walls. We're frustrated. We're like trying to figure out like how to get out of here,
okay.
right? Like
Yeah.
potentially.
So I thought that we're climbing the walls means we're finally getting out of here. And
Yeah,
so
the
climbing the
cliche.
walls is sort of the cliche of climbing the walls is that we're frustrated and we're not actually going somewhere. We're like sort of climbing the walls, but there's
Yeah.
still a roof. So I don't
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
it means, but
exactly. Like I looked it up because I was like, am I remembering this wrong? Like I
huh.
looked up climbing the walls as like a cliche and like it yeah, what did it say? People climb, they're stuck and not moving, they're frustrated, they're not moving. Like that was kind of the definition of it. And I was like, okay, so I'm just wondering like how could because that feels like such a climatic important like essential part of the song, whereas it feels like can you possibly care, people of action, those are things that could potentially change to highlight the thing that's super strong in the chorus, right?
Mhm. Okay. So this is the weird thing about when you put all this stuff on paper and you start
I
to
know.
feel a little weird about it because so the I guess that what I was thinking, and if you don't mind, I think maybe it would be helpful if we just think through it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or allow me to talk through it a little bit. But what I was thinking was that there, the way I've always felt is that there is an us and them, and I'm part of the us, and the
Okay.
us is the people who feel different, and the them is that everyone else is part of this group that like does sort of feel normal or something. This is a ridiculous thought because everyone feel. That's kind of the point of the song is that
Okay,
everyone
yeah.
feels different, right? So that's kind
Yeah.
of felt like, oh, this is universal. Don't we all feel different?
We totally do.
Right. So then I thought like the idea is that people who are like us who feel different actually are not the people who do things, but in actuality, we are. We are the people who do things because we are different. And everyone else who is sort of part of the masses who doesn't do anything, they're the ones who don't do anything. We're the people who are different. We are the people of action. And we can be together and do something. And then we're going to climb the walls and get the F out of here. That was sort
Right.
of like what I was thinking.
No, I got that, except that the wheel applies to both us and them. It puts the two of you together. There's no there's no knowledge that I have in your lyric to understand what you just said. Like and that's the thing is like the song has to stand on its own. It can't speak to all the stories, right? Like if you need a
Mm-hmm.
soliloquy to tell people what the song is about, the song's not doing the job it needs to do. So when I hear us and them, people of action, I'm already thinking that you and they are both people of action. And then you say, we'll be together. And my thought is, okay, so now you're going to be together. And now you're stuck in a room climbing the walls, going nowhere together.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what you're trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think that's the question to answer is like how do you get what you're trying to say across? Us and them feeling we feel different. Something like I don't know what that is, but like those two lines at the end of that little at the end of your first verse imply that you and they are both together within this thing doing a thing, but then you're not doing anything together,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
which is where I got confused.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like if you're going for abstraction, like you're winning because I'm confused and I don't, but it doesn't, but in talking to you, you have a very solid, clear idea of what you want this song to be about. And I'm not sure it's hitting that lyrically. Musically, yes,
Mm.
but I'm not sure it's telling the story that you're wanting to tell.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and just so I can be clear on, and so we can be as, like, I guess maybe as targeted as possible.
Yeah.
It's There is the issue. I'm going to bring this up again. So part of it is the issue of um, part of it is the issue of this, can you possibly care, can you possibly dare bit,
Hmm.
which um,
Like if you said, can you possibly dare to be who you are?
mm-hmm.
Right now,
Okay,
it doesn't rhyme, but let's just take that out of the
it's
equation. That
somewhat
doesn't need to
close.
right now, right? Like,
Right.
can you possibly dare to be who you are?
Mm-hmm.
Us and them, something, 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 something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, my instinct is that I want to keep the chorus because
Mm-hmm.
it's such a strong thing that is not the thing that I'm sort of thinking needs to change, right? So if I decide that that has to stay,
Mm-hmm.
how do I work the other stuff around? And I love us and them. I think your first three lines of your verse are awesome. The fourth line, I think, is an opportunity for a shift. And the last two lines there, people of action will be together, also an opportunity to dig into what you're trying to say and be vulnerable,
Okay.
right? Like,
Actually, I did have another line there. It was always people of action. There was another line there. I wonder if it was better. I can't
well, but
remember
even
what
if
it
you said
was.
us and them, people of action don't something, something, something. Like people of action, like if there was a way to understand that the us, the you part are the people of action and they are not the people of action.
Right. Okay.
But you're putting us together in that last line, and that's not what
Yeah.
you're saying you're trying to do.
Right. Okay. So that's okay. You know what? So that's what I kind of wanted to hear again.
Yeah,
Was like, what is off about it? And it's specifically that
the
we're
last
putting the
line.
us and them. We're putting them together. I'm putting them together.
Yeah. And then you're saying
Okay.
that they're doing action together,
Mm-hmm.
but your chorus is negating that because of the cliche meaning that is going to override unless you had more lines in your tonight we're climbing the walls, we're gonna escape this jail. Like then you're telling me what climbing the walls means.
Mm-hmm.
But your chorus is only those two lines. So I have no other context to
Right.
understand the meaning other than the cliche that exists. And it's
Okay.
always gonna win. Like
I think.
unfortunately.
Yeah. No. I. Yeah. So the thing about that is that for me, I don't know. I think even the cliche, because you had to look it up,
I had to make sure that I was
but
correct
you were
because I
right. Yeah.
wasn't, well, because of the rest of your lyric, I was like, but he's talking about like getting out and getting free. But I think that cliche means the opposite of that. Like, I just wanted to be sure that I was like, because I'm evaluating somebody's
Yeah.
song and we're sitting here professionally, like I wanted to
Oh,
make sure that I
yeah.
was right. Like, but I talked to my husband and he was like, I was like, what do you think this means? And he's like, oh, that means like getting out of something, like you're stuck. And I was like, okay. Um, so
Well, yeah, but so does it mean? So climbing the walls is like I think about it when you have like a young child, and it's like, oh, they're so pent up, they're climbing the walls right now.
yeah,
But is the implication that they do get out, or is it that it's just like a perpetual frustration?
I think it's a perpetual frustration. I mean,
Okay,
because the
that's
kid
what I wanted to. Yeah.
doesn't get out unless you let them, right?
Okay, that's right. That's
I
right.
mean,
Okay.
other possibilities are like you give it to us like maybe a few shifts in your first verse, you give it to us like it is, and we don't quite understand it in the first chorus,
Yeah.
right? But then in your second verse,
Yeah, can
we
we
get
move on? Because I think
yeah,
we,
yeah,
just in the interest of time too, because I want to be respectful of your time.
I'm good.
Um,
So
because I
then
think,
I got
yeah.
more confused in your
Okay.
second verse.
Okay.
Um, because you were talking about have you been here too long? You don't conform. Can you possibly care? And then, do you live in your head? Are you tied to that bed? Are all your dreams a bore? Can you walk through that door? But you're climbing the walls. Like it just seemed like this person was feeling potentially that they were going to get out of something. Like, but
Mm-hmm.
then they're like depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got confused. And
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like another opportunity of like, why are you climbing the walls? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if that's what that means, if it means that you're feeling stuck, why are you feeling stuck?
I'm feeling stuck because I'm having this construction going. It's like incessant
Okay,
construction.
so
No,
something like
the
there's
truth.
loud noises in my room, right?
Right, right.
Um,
Um, so I do. So I guess let's do the same exercise as the first verse,
yeah,
where I kind of felt like um, that. Do you live in your head? I always did feel like I lived in my own head, very much so. Tied to the bed, dreams all a bore. I guess I didn't. I was just trying to get the idea of frustration across, you know?
right.
Um,
And I got that. And that goes with climbing the walls, but it doesn't go
uh-huh.
with people of action. Like this is where it gets
Okay, so what if so there might be an opportunity to change the people of action part.
in the second part, potentially, right? I mean,
Oh,
and
just
that's
in general, right?
yeah, yeah, but that's the other cool. If you thought about, I mean, whether it's a verse two or pre-chorus, like you can always change the lyrics. The
Mm-hmm.
melody stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another thought would be like you're living in your head. Like instead of these questions that you started the song with, which I think are good, maybe in the second verse you're not asking questions, but you're stating like tonight we're climbing the walls, we're climbing the walls. You're living in your head, and I don't know if that would help. Like you're tied to your bed. Your dreams are all a bore. I want you to walk through that door, us and them. I don't know because then it goes into the chorus and tonight you're climbing the walls and now we're going to answer the call and we're tempting fate. And then I got super confused at the very end because I don't understand because there hasn't been anything about death. It's always
Mm-hmm.
just been about like feeling stuck or getting out. I wasn't sure. It's sort of
Mm-hmm.
not sure, right? And then all of a sudden you're looking forward to dying. That
Mm-hmm.
didn't seem like that was the impetus of the whole song. It felt
Mm-hmm.
not quite as serious.
Mm.
Not that like feeling stuck isn't serious, but I didn't get out of the lyric that that's where you were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've just, for anybody who's watching this, I might as well just go and tell the whole kind of like abbreviated version of the story, in that there is, there was originally another, there was kind of a bridge to this
Okay.
song, and it did have a more imagery about, I do not know why. I mean, I think it was sort of like a more of a poetic sort of thing where when I pictured being tied to a bed, and it was sort of like I guess I was just feeling sort of like in my gut more of a more of a desperation sort of
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah, that's the climbing the walls part that I
Yeah.
love.
And
Um,
so there was a bridge that was about, um, there was sort of a little bit of a bridge section with different chords that went, it was about, I was had this image in my mind of, like the old version of like a crazy person tied in a straitjacket tied
yeah,
to a bed, and it's like, I don't even know, like the Metallica video of
yeah.
One or something. I was sort of having that, that sort of thing in my mind, and I was writing these lyrics about disease and, yeah, it was way dark. It was, something like the thought of disease makes death come with ease. Uh,
Yeah, and I just don't, I mean,
there was, yeah.
I think it's valid, but I'm not sure it belongs in this song. Like I think it's a cool line, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe it doesn't belong here anymore, right? Because you took it out. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
my fix for your last chorus was potentially like, tonight we're done climbing the walls. Tonight we'll answer the call. Tonight we're tempting the fates, right? So like you're putting being stuck behind you. And then it could just be, you know,
Yeah.
even though we're scared, we're gonna climb the walls, or,
Yeah.
and then you flip it, right? Like you could make that shift
Yeah.
if you give us some context.
Yeah.
And that's like the cool thing about like recoloring choruses
Mm-hmm.
or developing the lyric story or whatever. Like I think you do have a story here and you know what it is, but I'm not sure the song is telling your story
Mm-hmm.
um in the clearest way that it could with the strongest like through line.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm talking to you, you know exactly what you want to say. I'm just not sure that the lyrics of the song are
Mm-hmm.
saying it in a way that I'm going to listen to the song without your, backstory and understand it. I'll get something out of it. Like I got something out of it. It made me feel something, but in asking me to look at it deeper, I'm like, okay, well, if I'm sort of half paying attention, all I'm really paying attention to is like the frustrated feeling that the chorus gives off, which it does. But then if I dig deeper, it's not, the lyrics aren't doing as strong, I think, the work that they could be doing potentially.
Mm-hmm.
You have a really
Okay.
cool story and a really powerful thing to say to somebody. Um,
Thank you. I think, so I have a very, when it comes to like songwriting, I think I have a very functional sort of attitude about, um, like solving these problems and then getting it done.
yeah,
So correct me if I'm wrong,
yeah.
but so this is, I'm going to just, like consolidate your advice.
I mean, I
I,
can send you my Word document now that we've talked, but
oh,
like
really?
I have all of this like in a Word document with comments on the
Are you
side.
serious?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like everything we're talking about, like I have comments on the side, but I didn't want
Okay.
to just when
No,
we
no.
spoke and I didn't meet you, I was like, if you read these and we haven't had a conversation, this is a recipe for disaster versus like the conversation that we're having. And now I can send them to you and like you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where like, I mean, the comments aren't mean, they're just like questions that everything I just talked about. But I
Yeah.
didn't want to like, I don't know, like, that's just a hard ask. Like, if because we haven't met before, like I, you wouldn't probably take them as well because I can't explain what I'm and I can't ask questions about what you're doing. So yeah.
I no, I actually love what we did today. because if there's one thing that I kind of feel like uh, I've made my life about not being afraid, and also being, I just like to put shit out there,
Yeah.
basically. So I don't mind the criticism. And actually, like I told you, I have a sort of a writing partner,
Yeah.
and he's told me he's been more brutal.
Spicy.
He's been more spicy than you have been. So, but I do think, but you're also, more uh,
I don't know.
pedigreed. Let's,
I don't know
you're
if
more
that.
credentialed,
Well, I don't know if that has to do. It's just I think
or if
it's the
that has.
number of songs that I
Mm-hmm,
listen to a week, and also the age group that I'm working with, and understanding people's emotions,
mm-hmm,
and being. I'm an empath, so being aware of those kinds of things and making sure to speak about things in a way that people can kind of take it or leave it, and
mm-hmm,
I think it's always good to know that like someone's giving you permission not to do any changes, right? Because it's your work, it's your art. Like you
mm-hmm,
get to choose how you want to put this out in the world, and like how, whether you like I've gotten advice before and I'm like, yeah, that's not what I want to say. I'm going to say it the way I said it, and it's
mm-hmm.
okay that it doesn't make sense, or
Yeah.
I've had someone say like, well, this is mixed perspective. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but this is what I want to say and the way I want to say it. And it's okay. Like, I understand, so I think there's like such validity. And I don't feel that like, I mean, if you don't go to one of these schools, like Berkeley, the University of Miami, Clive Davis, USC, Belmont, like those are the only five places kind of offering like really serious songwriting critique and information about this. I
Mm-hmm,
mean, there are other schools that have like some songwriting classes, but they're not always as deep as some of this stuff. Then you don't have any access to someone who can like dig deep and give answers, right? I've listened to like stuff like podcasts, or not podcasts, but like song critiques that are put out by like different places, and like they're never spicy. They're always like, "Oh, yay, go, you put out music. Go you. Oh, I love the melodies." Like everything is happy go lucky. And I'm like, that song had issues. Like the pre-chorus didn't work, like this wasn't working, blah blah blah. And nobody's talking about that stuff. And I think people are scared, to say those kinds of things, but it's like, are you trying to get better at this, or do you want to like just have smoke up your butt, And it's like I don't know, you got a cool song here, like the way that it is, but it also has potential to be something else. Like, I don't think it's better or worse. It's just like these are things that you could take a look at to see if they are things that you want to change in your art or your work to have it say something a little bit different than what it's saying right now. Does that make sense?
it totally makes sense, and I actually think that what we've done today is so valuable. And I think that I'll tell you my perspective on it too is that I think as an artist, everybody has to sort of come to their own thing. And part of me feels like, um, you know, uh, I'll tell you that I was inspired to write music by Eddie Vedder.
Nice.
And mostly because, not that I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan, but just because I listened to his lyrics and they made no sense a lot of times.
Yeah,
And I thought, if this guy can do it, then why can't I? You know?
yeah, yeah,
And I wrote my first song, and it was literally just like this kind of almost practically nonsensical poem that was just sort of like flashes of feelings and words and things, and it really had no, it just didn't make sense. And it's still a song, and it's on my first album, the first album of my own. And so, and I actually still like the song for what it is. And so
yeah.
part of me likes the fact, and this is for all songwriters, I guess, like I'll put myself out there and just say that part of me also likes to have songs that maybe don't make a lot of sense, like sometimes, and
Oh, I
maybe are
agree.
open to interpretation. But also part of me wants to become a really great songwriter because, there are some songs that I think are so just like amazing and beautiful. And I sometimes I think, oh, if I ever wrote a song like that, I could just die happy if I could write a song that good,
Yeah, I get that. And I
you
think
know?
like with this song, like I think there's a lot of beauty in abstraction. And that's the other overall piece of this is like
Yeah.
if you want it to be abstract, then I think you got to lean harder into that, right?
Mm-hmm.
For this particular song, then none of it has to sort of make sense. Like right
Mm-hmm.
now, it sort of makes sense in two different ways, and they're kind
Mm-hmm.
of fighting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a choice. It's like, do you want it to be aligned or do
Yeah.
you want it to be super abstract? In which case, then you got to lean in more metaphors. You got to lean into more like that's the thing, like can you possibly care, are there trees over there, like what up you know what I mean, like where it's like wait a minute, what, like where it's so out there that like we're just getting feelings from it, we're just getting emotions from like, and
Mm-hmm.
the lyrics are essentially just a vehicle for the melodies, right?
Yeah.
And that is also like a really valid, awesome choice to make.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a question I think you have to ask yourself as the songwriter of like I feel like it's the hardest places to live where this song is living, which is kind of in between the two,
Mm-hmm.
where it like kind of makes sense, but not quite. And the two things that it makes sense with are sort of fighting
Mm-hmm.
versus all abstract, where it's like none of it makes sense, but just feels so good. And that chorus is so amazing. And like I'm just riding the emotional wave of this thing. Or everything leads towards like I'm feeling stuck, but I'm going to figure out a way out of it. Right. And so then the song like can live in one of these spaces and kind of really like belong there, right? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to belong. So
Mm-hmm.
where are you feeling like this song wants to belong is sort of the question to ask yourself. And there's not a wrong or right way, even just as it is, it's cool. But like that's the thing that I would explore is like, where
Mm-hmm.
could this go?
Yeah. So I think that's great because there are definitely. So I think just for myself, and I think for any songwriter, I think what is good about all this is that we did record it.
You can go back and listen and be like, what
So
did
I
she
could,
say?
yeah, because I do think that it's I think it is a bit of a process to get to where you're going, and so I
Yeah.
do think that I think that that's what I'm going to do is that a lot of this feedback you gave me is great. And so there are things that have bothered me about the song over the years. And it's gone through a couple of rewrites, but nothing drastic, like a couple of lines here and there, a couple of cut a section out. I made it into, more condensed, simpler thing. There were a lot more chord changes. Um, and then and then what you also highlighted is that there is inherently sort of like this duality in the song that I think, you know, I do want this to be, I want all my songs to be as good as they can possibly be. So the one thing that bothers me most out of everything we discussed is the last line, actually, the death line.
Yeah.
Maybe it is too much, but I have to sort of simmer on. I think any songwriter,
Yeah.
needs to know that it's okay to just sort of like sit on things, and I, like we said in the up top, I am releasing this song as is,
Exactly. And
soon.
it's great just the way it is. I'm just saying like you were like, well, if I did do this again, like what are possibilities? And I'm like,
Yeah.
and that was the other reason why it's hard to want to dig into something that you're going to release because you've decided to do it, right? Versus like something that's more work tapey
Yeah.
and not in a finished format where we're also not hanging on to as much of it
Yeah.
as we might.
That doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I don't mind,
Well, you're different.
releasing.
You're a very unique, amazing human because
Thank you. I don't
that
mind
is
releasing
like
this and
when
then
students of mine are like, "Hey, Kat, I put this song out. Can you let me know what you think?" And I'm like, "It's amazing. Congratulations." And that is all that they will ever get from me because I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. No. If you wanted my help on the song, like
you should have come to
you should
me
have come to me seven
before
months
you
ago
put it out.
before,
Yeah.
like you decided that five different perspectives was good."
I
Like, um,
we're gonna do all of my songs, even the
okay.
ones, especially the ones I've already released.
Okay.
And the harsher the criticism, more fun for the
Well, I'm not
the
harsh.
listener, also.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel I was, succinct and clear, but not
No,
like
you
mean.
no, you were
Um,
awesome. You were awesome. And just so people know, I really don't think there are, like I said up top, I'm a functional songwriter in my opinion. I can get a song written. I don't consider myself a great songwriter. There are so many songwriters that are better than me. There's lots and lots and lots of them. But I also know there are people who would die to write a song like this. You know?
yeah.
I don't so the short answer is I don't give a shit. Like I don't, it's like I know where I'm at, and if I can improve, I'll improve. And that's the thing about this show is that it's really about putting it out there. So, it's okay for me to put it out there because that's just my journey. I don't care. Like, I've written some decent songs and I've written some real shitty songs, and I'm happy to put them all out there. Um,
Hey, we're all stuck somewhere. Like, I mean, I have a song I've been working on for like 2 years and I can't get the verses to land right. So, I mean,
yeah, 2 years, that's nothing.
for me, that's a long time to be
That's a
working on a
blink of an
single
ay,
song.
dude. That's a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So,
let's finish up.
okay.
I think this was amazing.
Well, it was really fun. So, thanks for being so open and vulnerable and makes
Dude,
my job easy.
no, thank you for coming on the show because I cannot tell you how often I feel like I'm really punching up a lot in this show. To have someone who is as professional and credentialed as you are to come and slum it on my show
Are you kidding?
is
I don't consider that at all. Like, not at all.
no,
Credentials or not, it's just, it was, getting
yeah.
a PhD was, I got divorced literally and was like 36, no
What am I
kids,
gonna do? I'll
and
get a
going like,
PhD.
that was why I'm totally serious. That's why I did it. I was like, what else am I going to do with my life right now? Like, I have nothing. And it has paid off, but it's like
No, but
people don't
you're
call
not just
me that. So, it's just like, yeah, I have that. I did that. It was part of my journey, but yeah.
yeah, but you also are an actual songwriting instructor, right?
Yeah.
Professor of songwriting at probably the one of the, if not the most prestigious music
The most well
schools.
known. I don't know,
Maybe well,
but well
okay,
known.
whatever it is. And you also have how many, 5 records and like a bunch of singles too. So you're the real deal. So I appreciate you
Well,
being willing to come and do this with me, and I'm going to definitely have you come on again. But
okay. Well, that was
um,
fun. It was
yeah,
really cool. And thank you for having me and for
yeah.
being really open and it's really cool. I can send you all my notes. So
I'm gonna take all your notes. We're gonna
okay.
put it out there. We're gonna share them with anyone who wants to. I'll make it a lead magnet. If you want to see Kat's notes on my song, I'll collect an email for it or something. I don't know.
Good thing it says anonymous on all my notes.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Because when I often review like journal articles for different like publications and
Oh,
things like, and so they don't want any tags of like who did this. So my settings are just like they don't
oh.
want to know who like gave feedback on the like before they go to print.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And the last thing is where I am going to put links to all your stuff
Okay, I will send you an email with
in the
this
show
and that.
notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to put all the links to your stuff, and I'm going to start promoting you
Okay,
so
just
that
send me an email with anything that you have or tag me, make me a collaborator or whatever on
Okay,
Instagram or
great.
wherever. I'm only on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm not a TikTok person. So,
I'm not either. But I do Twitter as well.
okay. Yeah, I'm not on that either.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so thanks again,
You're
Kat.
so
It's
welcome.
really wonderful, and I look forward to the next time we do this, and also to have you officially on the show as an interview guest, because
Amazing. I would love to do
we
that.
want to hear your story.
Sweet.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks. Have a great rest of your Sunday.
Thanks. You too.
Okay. Talk
Bye.
to you later. Bye.